Alright folks, buckle up for a wild ride into the animal kingdom's ultimate what-if matchup. In one corner, we've got the gray wolf, nature's stealthy strategist, the pack-hunting powerhouse of the north. And in the other, the undisputed heavyweight of the wild, the African elephant. A creature so massive it makes SUVs look like chew toys. Now, I know what you're thinking, this sounds like a squirrel challenging a bulldozer. But hey, nature isn't always fair, and it's rarely predictable. Who would have guessed a honey badger could scare off a lion? True story, by the way, YouTube it later. So today, we're diving nose first into the wildest battle royale you never knew you needed. Brains versus brawn, speed versus size, teamwork versus pure tusk power. Who comes out on top, the cunning carnivore or the gentle giant with a short fuse? Let's break it down and see which of these beasts would actually walk away the winner, or if they'd just walk away. Size and defense, the underdog versus the giant. Let's talk scale, because this matchup starts off looking like a scene straight out of a cartoon. On Team Underdog, we've got the gray wolf, clocking in at around 80 to 100 pounds and stretching for 0.5 to 6 feet from nose to tail. That's about the size of your average Great Dane, but with sharper teeth and way more wilderness swagger. The wolf is built for speed, smarts, and stamina. No armor plating here, but don't count it out. When wolves play, they play as a team, and that pack mentality is their real superpower. Now enter the elephant. This isn't just any big animal, we're talking a 14,000-pound tank on legs. Imagine stacking to pick up trucks, slapping tusks on them, and giving them the ability to sprint when they're mad. Standing up to 13 feet tall, an adult male African elephant is basically a walking fortress. Thick skin, check. Giant tusks, check. A whole attitude that says, try me. Double check. Expert opinion, let's be honest here. If this were a boxing match, the wolf wouldn't even reach the elephant's knees. This is David versus Goliath without the miracle shot. Size-wise, the elephant is in a league of its own, but don't count out the clever underdog just yet. Lifespan Showdown, who outlasts who, gray wolf. These forest ninjas usually clock in around 6 to 8 years in the wild, not exactly a marathon, but enough time to master howling at the moon, leading a wolf pack playlist, and perfecting those sneaky hunting tactics. In captivity, they might stretch their lifespan to around 13 years, which is basically like hitting pause on life and living the wolf retirement dream. Elephant, now here's where things get wild. The elephant is basically the Methuselah of the animal kingdom, living a whopping 60 to 70 years, almost as long as a human lifetime. That's decades of practicing their look intimidating while doing nothing stare, remembering which humans gave peanuts and which ones tried to run, and slowly perfecting the art of trunk whipping any challenger who dares step too close. When it comes to sheer lifespan, elephants are the undefeated champions, practically the senior citizens of the wilderness. Meanwhile, gray wolves may have shorter lives, but they make every year count with their teamwork, fierce loyalty, and non-stop moon serenades. Gray wolf. These guys are basically nature's ultimate foodies, well, if you consider hunting deer, elk, and sometimes even moose as fine dining. Wolves are all about that meat life, hunting in packs like a well-coordinated flash mob to bring down big prey. But don't be fooled, when times get tough, they'll eat pretty much anything from small rodents to berries, basically surviving on whatever Mother Nature throws their way. Basically, wolves are the I'll-try-anything-once foodies of the wild. Elephant. The elephant's diet is more like a never-ending buffet of plants. Leaves, bark, fruits, grasses, if it's green, it's on the menu. Elephants can eat up to 300 pounds of food a day, which is basically like ordering the XXL combo meal every single meal. No wonder they're the gentle giants, they spend most of their day just munching away. If an elephant ever tried hunting, it would probably just try to eat the hunter out of house and home. Wolves are the carnivorous hunters, always on the prowl for a juicy meal, while elephants are the ultimate vegetarians, taking their time to graze through the wild salad bar. Different tastes, same survival game, speed and agility, who's got the moves? Alright, let's talk footwork. If this battle were a dance-off, the gray wolf would be the slick, nimble street dancer pulling off spins and sidesteps like it's auditioning for So You Think You Can Hunt. These canines can hit speeds of 35 to 40 miles per hour in short bursts and just keep going. Imagine a furry marathon runner who can also pivot like an NFL wide receiver. That's a wolf in motion, They don't just chase, they outmaneuver, outlast, and outthink. Now don't laugh, but the elephant can actually move. When motivated, an African elephant can charge at speeds up to 25 miles per hour. That's faster than most people can bike on a flat road. It's like watching a speeding sofa with tusks come barreling toward you. But here's the catch, turning quickly isn't in the elephant's playbook. It's got the speed, but not the agility. Think bowling ball, not ballerina. If the wolf gets too close and slips up, it's toast. One well-placed stomp and it's lights out. But if that wolf plays it smart and dances around from a distance, this turns into a chess match on paws and hooves. And wolves, they're surprisingly good at playing the long game. Weapons and tactics, bite versus tusk. Now let's dive into the arsenal. If these two went head-to-head in a no-holds-barred showdown, what's actually coming out swinging? First up, the gray wolf. This predator may not look like much solo, but it packs a serious punch where it counts, right in the jaw. With a bite force of 1,200 psi, it could crack a moose femur like a toothpick. Its sharp canines are built for gripping, tearing, and getting the job done fast. But the real danger, teamwork. Wolves don't play fair. They flank, they trap, and they coordinate like a special ops unit in fur coats. You don't fight one wolf, you fight the whole squad. Now cue the elephant. This behemoth isn't just big, it's armed. Tusks can thrust, gouge, and send a predator airborne. Picture getting hit with a battering ram made of solid ivory. The trunk, not just a nose, it's a 5-foot whip, a battering arm, and sometimes a projectile launcher. And here's the twist, elephants aren't just muscle. They remember faces, track threats, and even learn from bad encounters. You don't just fight an elephant, you fight a highly intelligent tank with a memory like a grudge-holding grandma. A single tusk swipe could send a wolf spinning like a frisbee on game day. And let's be honest, wolves were built for running, not flying. In a straight-up brawl, the elephant brings the heavy hardware, but the wolf, it's a tactician, a strategist, and a master of guerrilla warfare. It's Rocky Balboa with fur, looking for that one clever opening. Environment and behavior, know your battlefield. Let's set the stage, because location isn't just scenery, it's strategy. Wolves are nature's nomads. These furry tacticians roam forests, tundra, and open plains like they own the place. They thrive in cold, harsh environments and know how to pick their battles. A smart wolf won't throw down with anything it can outlast or outsmart. Think of them like wilderness chess players, never rushing, always planning, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They'll track prey for miles, testing weaknesses, wearing it down until it slips. But if the odds aren't right, they bail. No shame in the game when survival's on the line. Now swing the spotlight to the African elephant. These giants don't just survive in the savanna and forests, they dominate. They're the unchallenged rulers of their territory, moving with the confidence of a linebacker who knows nobody's getting past. Lions only brave enough to test a young elephant if they've got the whole pride lined up, and even then, they're playing with fire. Elephants protect their herd like a Secret Service detail. Mess with the calf, and you're getting the full wrath of mama, and let me tell you, she doesn't believe in warnings. If a wolf ever did try to pull a fast one, maybe sneak up on a calf, its best bet would still be a quick exit. Elephants don't negotiate and they don't forget. The wolf might get a head start, but it better run like its tail's on fire. In this neighborhood, stealth meets stomp, and stomp usually wins. Final verdict, who would win? Let's be honest here, this is not a fair fight. It's like throwing a chess master into the ring with a freight train. In a one-on-one showdown, the elephant doesn't just have the upper hand, it is the hand. With that massive size, thick skin, and enough power to bulldoze a small car, it would squash even the sharpest lone wolf like a soda can at a tailgate party. But hold on, not so fast. The wolf's strength isn't in brute force, it's in brain power and adaptability. These animals survive blizzards, hunt smarter not harder, and work together like a furry SWAT team. If this were a game of survival in the wild, across seasons, terrain, and shifting threats, the wolf has staying power that's tough to beat. In a head-to-head brawl, the elephant wins by a mile. But in the long game of life, the sneaky, scrappy, stay-alive at all costs game, never count out the wolf. It's not just about who's stronger, it's about who's smarter, tougher, and more relentless when the going gets rough. So who wins in the ring? Elephant. In the wild, maybe, Just maybe, the wolf walks away the last one standing. Is this dangerous to humans? Let's clear the air. Are you in danger if you cross paths with one of these wild heavyweights, starting with wolves? Despite all the spooky stories and Hollywood howling, wolves are not out there plotting to chase you through the woods. In reality, they want nothing to do with humans. They'll hear you coming, roll their eyes, and quietly peace out before you even get close. Unless a wolf is starving and desperate, which is rare, your granola bar isn't on its radar. Now, elephants. These gentle giants are usually chill, grazing through the savannah like they're on a slow-moving lunch break. But here's the catch: if they feel threatened, cornered, or if you mess with their babies, things can go south fast. Males in must, a hormonal surge that's basically elephant rage mode, are especially unpredictable. It's like giving a semi-truck feelings and then cutting it off in traffic. Not a good idea. Wolves are skittish introverts, elephants are calm until they're not, and when they're not, you better run like you just stole their last peanut. Moral of the story: respect the wild, admire from a distance. And don't assume peaceful means powerless, should you keep one as a pet. Short answer, absolutely not. And long answer, still no, but let's have some fun with it. Let's start with the wolf. Sure, wolf puppies are adorable, like fluffy little legends with big eyes and bigger paws. But here's the thing: that cute little furball grows up into a wild animal with serious instincts. They're not wired for fetch and belly rubs. They're wired for hunting elk and running 15 miles before breakfast. Even wolf-dog hybrids are risky. They might look like oversized huskies, but behavior-wise, they're more National Geographic than Netflix and chill. Now elephants. I know what you're thinking: it's big, it's smart, it seems sweet, why not? Well, for starters, an adult elephant eats over 300 pounds of food a day. That's not a pet, that's a grocery bill with a trunk. Add in the fact that they need miles of space, constant mental stimulation, and enough water to fill a swimming pool just to cool off, and suddenly your backyard isn't looking so elephant-friendly. Wolves belong in the wild, and elephants belong in protected reserves, not your living room. No matter how majestic they are, trying to make a pet out of either is a lose-lose for everyone involved. You don't tame wildness, you respect it. So if you're craving something cuddly, maybe stick with a dog, a cat, or a goldfish. Your furniture, and your sanity, will thank you. Like what you saw? Then don't just sit there like a lazy house cat. Hit that subscribe button and join the wild side. We've got epic animal showdowns, mind-blowing facts, and just enough chaos to keep things interesting. Got a crazy matchup you want to see next? Drop it in the comments. Lion versus crocodile, bear versus tiger, pigeon versus anything. You name it, we might just break it down. This channel's for the curious, the wild at heart, and anyone who's ever asked, but seriously, who would win?